Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from things that you once thought you couldn't. Namaste and a very good morning to one and all present here. I, Kavya Dodiya, on behalf of our advisory, welcome you all to the morning assembly. Today is 16th of March, Tuesday. Please get ready for prayers followed by Om.
जैसे सूरज की गर्मी से जलते हुए तन को मिल जाए तरवर की छाया। सूरज की गर्मी से जलते हुए तन को मिल जाए तरवर की छाया। ऐसा ही सुख मेरे मन को मिला है, मैं जब से शरण तेरी आया मेरे राम। सूरज की गर्मी से जलते हुए तन को मिल जाए तरवर की छाया। भटका हुआ मेरा मन था, कोई मिल ना रहा था सहारा। भटका हुआ मेरा मन था, कोई मिल ना रहा था सहारा। लहरों से लड़ती हुई नाव को जैसे मिल ना रहा हो किनारा। लहरों से लड़ती हुई नाव को जैसे मिल ना रहा हो किनारा। मिल ना रहा हो किनारा। इस लड़खड़ाती हुई नाव को जो किसी ने किनारा दिखाया। ऐसा ही सुख मेरे मन को मिला है, मैं जब से शरण तेरी आया मेरे राम।
We all know that behind every complex structure, there are simple building blocks. However, are we familiar with the combination of three sciences that help us function in various activities? Our advisory has tried to explore the relationship between the sciences and our CAS activities that we do during school. First, we have Devanshee, Heli, and Kamya, who will talk about the sciences involved in aerobics and fitness.
There are various reactions that take place, one of them being changes in the blood. While doing aerobics, our muscles use the oxygen in the hemoglobin and convert it to useful energy in the form of glucose. In addition to this, carbon dioxide and hydrogen is produced as well. This in turn causes the pH levels to decrease, thus affecting the blood chemistry. Similarly, there are changes in our metabolism as well. Metabolites are small chemicals that increase with an increase in exercise. So surprisingly, in maybe 10 minutes of doing exercise, our metabolites levels can change to a vast level that can increase so much more than what we started with. Glycerol is a metabolite. It breaks down fatty acids. It increases when people exercise. On the other hand, allantoin, it's a metabolite that is linked to oxidation stress. It is found to decrease while people exercise. Scientific American magazine states that exercise can change our metabolism to a long-term level. However, all these aspects are also are also dependent on your individual body chemistry, which is determined by age, body type, and genetic predisposition.
Physics is connected to fitness in several ways. To begin with, a calorie is a measure of energy. It is the amount of energy required to heat 1 liter of water by 1 degree centigrade. If you consume a piece of food with 100 calories in it, it is providing 100 units of energy, which your body will either burn or store as fat to be used at a later date. The law of inertia, otherwise known as momentum, states that a body at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. A weight or any piece of equipment remains in a static position until your muscles contract to generate the force required to move the weight. The resistance curve is the most fundamental part of weight training. The basis of weight training or any other type of resistance training is physics.
Our body needs energy to carry out various functions, which may be because of physical exercise or metabolic processes in the body. Our cells carry out aerobic respiration, which give out energy in the form of ATP. The aerobic respiration is carried out in the presence of oxygen and glucose to give out water, carbon dioxide, and energy. The energy is used during physical exercises like aerobics for muscle stretching. After rigorous exercise, the lack of oxygen is created in the body, which results the muscles to respire anaerobically. Anaerobic respiration leads to formation of lactic acid. The lactic acid formed in the muscles result in cramps. The cramps are a result of rigorous exercise or when one exercises after a long rest period.
Thank you for that factual input. Now Kunjan, I, Nandan and Nancy will talk about sports like basketball, football and volleyball.
Coming to the physics aspect of these sports, today we'll be discussing the perfect shot in regards to each sport and how it all connects to the various concepts of physics. This means for football we'll be discussing the perfect penalty kick, for volleyball the perfect service, and for basketball the perfect free throw. Talking about football, the best possible penalty kick in most cases would be one where the ball is hit accurately with the maximum amount of force, causing the ball to travel at a greater speed and thus reducing the time that the goalkeeper has to react. This is achieved by a special kick called the instep drive, which uses the quadriceps muscles of the thigh to provide the most powerful kick available in the game, forcing the top of the foot to propel the football forward at a very high velocity. There are 5 steps to performing the instep drive, the first being the approach, or the position from where you are planning to kick the ball. The ideal method would be to approach the ball from a 45-degree angle to produce the highest possible lower limb velocity, which would translate to greater force with which the ball is hit. The next step is the backswing, which is the motion or action of pulling the leg back before kicking the ball. In this step, the kicking leg should be extended as far back as possible while the other leg is firmly grounded next to the ball. This ensures that the kicking leg gathers maximum elastic potential energy as it extends backwards. The third step is the force production step, or the part where the kicking leg is swung forward to meet the ball, as a result of the extension of the leg done in the previous step. Additional energy is provided to the leg from the muscles pushing the leg forward. After this comes the part where the foot actually makes contact with the ball. This process where the foot hits the ball for only 6 to 16 milliseconds determines the ball's motion after it has been hit, and also how effectively the momentum from the leg has been transferred to the ball. Thus, it is vital that this step is carried. The greatest ball speed or transfer of energy is achieved by striking the ball with the dorsal or upwards facing side of the foot. Moreover, the height of the ball's path is determined by how high or low is the foot hitting the ball. Striking the ball lower creates a higher trajectory, and likewise, striking the ball higher creates a lower trajectory. Now looking at the final step of carrying out the perfect penalty kick, the follow through, where the foot continues its motion forward after hitting the ball rather than coming to an abrupt stop. This is the action which contributes to the deceleration of the kicking leg slowly, which is vital to prevent injury by dissipating the kinetic energy of the foot gradually. In addition, this motion also helps maximize the foot contact with the ball, which again translates to the maximum amount of kinetic energy transferred. So, perfecting those 5 steps will allow you to perform the theoretically perfect penalty kick in football.
In terms of volleyball, the perfect serve is one where the ball spends the least amount of time in the air to limit the reaction time available to the opposite team. This can be achieved by optimizing the path that the ball follows and optimizing the velocity at which it travels. A volleyball follows a parabolic path in the air, also known as projectile motion. The equation of projectile motion is x equals ut cos theta, which shows that the time is dependent on the angle, distance and the velocity of the ball. Decreasing the angle and increasing the velocity would lead to time decreasing. A good serve would require the ball to be hit at a combination of low angle and high speed at which the ball spends less time in the air while also not going out of bounds or hitting the net. Various other aspects about at what height should the ball be hit would differ from person to person, but the overall goal will stay the same. Hit the ball as hard as possible to get the speed and at as low of an angle as possible. Now let's talk about the perfect free throw in terms of basketball. In basketball, free throws or foul shots are unopposed attempts to score points by shooting from behind the free throw line. The perfect free throw would be one which would guarantee scoring smoothly with minimal chances of missing. Similar to volleyball, the ball follows a parabolic path here as well. But the difference is that the target of the ball is at a higher height, and again, unlike volleyball, the accuracy of the throw is of greater importance than the amount of time the ball spends in the air. What will matter in basketball is the launch angle of the ball in accordance to your height. An extensive study done to figure out launch angles, which will give the greatest free throw accuracy for people of different heights, has come up with these results.
Volleyball, basketball, and football are one of the most popular sports that we play in school. The ball and its composition plays a huge role in how the game progresses. The basketball is made of 3 parts: the carcass, the bladder, and the outermost layer. The bladder is made from butyl rubber, which helps the ball retain air and gives the bounce. The butyl rubber is made from 2 gases, butadiene and styrene. These gases are put in a reactor with soap suds, which makes latex, in turn forming the butyl rubber. The carcass is made from nylon or polyester threads. The nylon is composed from carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The outermost layer is made from rubber, synthetic rubber, or leather. The best quality balls are made from leather. The leather or rubber panels are cut and stuck together to make the outermost layer. The structure of the volleyball is similar. However, the main components of volleyball are based on plastics. The ball is made from wound nylon covered in plastics like vinyl and polyurethane for durability and shape retention. The rubber bladder, which is filled with air, is made from polyisobutylene, also known as PIB. The bladder is partially attached to the cloth layer. The outside layer consists of leather or synthetic leather. The different parts of leather are stuck together using rubber glue. A standard soccer ball is made up from synthetic rubber, polyurethane or polyvinyl chloride. There are synthetic leather panels stuck together to make the outermost layer. These panels are backed by cloth layer to make them sturdier. The bladder of the ball is formed using natural or synthetic rubber.
Effects of adrenaline during sports. When a stressful situation occurs and your heart begins to race, your hands begin to sweat, and you start looking for an escape, you have experienced a textbook case of fight or flight response. This response stems from the hormone adrenaline, also called epinephrine. The hormone is a crucial part of the body's flight or fight response, but overexposure can be damaging to the health. Because of this, adrenaline is a hormone worth understanding. Adrenaline is produced in the medulla, in the adrenal glands, as well as some of the central nervous system neurons. Within a couple of minutes during a stressful situation, adrenaline is quickly released into the blood, sending impulses to organs to create a specific response to a specific situation. There's an increase of energy sent to the muscles, and the muscles' response is to boost their ability to react. There's an enhanced alertness brought about by an arousal of the central nervous system. The body begins to sweat more in preparation to cool the muscles, and the pupils dilate in an effort to take in more of the surroundings. The heart, upon feeling the increase in adrenaline, immediately boosts the rate and strengthens its beating. The result is an increase in blood pressure, which in turn allows for an increase in respiratory exchange, making more oxygen available for the muscles. The more the oxygen, the better the performance is. That was quite informative. Now Hetvi, Khushi, and Raja will talk about the integration of sciences in yoga.
Yoga is a spiritual discipline dating back to some 5,000 years in the history of Indian philosophy. Its purpose mainly is to unleash spiritual and mental powers of an individual. However, in recent times, yoga has been extremely popular in the context of fighting stress, anxiety, and depression in these times of industrialization and our super fast lifestyles. Apart from the spiritual aspects, the physiological benefits acquired from yoga have recently had radical scientific understandings behind its workings. It also moderates the surge of and the production of chemicals in the body that affect us mentally as well as physically. Gamma-aminobutyric acid is created from glutamate in the brain cells. It is a neurotransmitter in the central nervous system and it prevents some nerve impulses. Without it, too many nerve cells would be released. Low amounts are linked to anxiety disorders and addiction. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter in the brain, but it is mostly found in the digestive tract. Low amounts can lead to depression, anxiety, panic attacks, excessive anger, and OCD. Yoga was first used in ancient India to harmonize the mind, spirit, and body. It helps with strength, flexibility, posture, and balance. Not until the 1980s did it become a well-linked form of exercise. Gamma-aminobutyric acid calms nervous activity and boosts your mind. Research shows that after 1 hour of yoga, gamma-aminobutyric acid levels increased by 27%, and after 1 hour and after regular practice, it helps you overcome anxiety and stressful situations. Serotonin increases your mood and causes happiness. After 30 minutes of yoga, it starts to increase in the brain and your mood rises.
Yoga is known to provide us with 4 major benefits. It helps improve sleep quality, it helps improve breathing, it helps fight depression, and promotes good heart health. Another benefit of doing yoga is it promotes better sleep quality. Poor sleep quality has been associated with problems such as obesity, high blood pressure, and depression. Doing calming yoga poses can help relax the body and lower the blood pressure. And this also reduces the amount of stress hormone cortisol. Studies show that yoga may also help improve heart health and reduce several risk factors for heart diseases. One study found that participants over the age of 40 who practiced yoga had a significantly lower blood pressure and pulse rate than those who didn't. Some studies also show that incorporating yoga into a healthy lifestyle can help reduce cholesterol in the body, especially bad LDL cholesterol.
Pranayama and Sudarshan Kriya are examples of practices in yoga that focuses on controlling the breath through breathing exercises and techniques. Most type of yoga incorporates these breathing exercises, and several studies has found that practicing yoga could help improve breathing. This is because it helps increase an individual's vital capacity. Vital capacity is a measure of maximum amount of air that can be expelled from the lungs. It is especially important for those with lung diseases, heart problem, and asthma. Improving breathing can help build endurance, optimize performance, and keep your lungs and heart healthy. This is especially beneficial during the COVID-19 pandemic, since it positively affects an individual's respiratory system.
The balancing act. The point where the weight is averagely distributed is called the center of mass. In postures, there is either horizontal or vertical asymmetry, causing the center of mass to deviate. Take one example of simple knee-leg Dhruva Asana. For a standing body, the center of mass is always in the navel region. As we raise our hands, the center of mass moves upwards. When there is asymmetry, the balance can be reduced through proper posture alignment and force. By practicing Uttukata Konasana, aka the goddess pose, which needs horizontal stretch of both thighs upwards, my friends are finding the balance hard. the trick to distribute the weight of the upper body backwards. This can be done by wringing arms backwards like a goddess blessing or by slightly tilting the head upwards. Ardha Chandrasana similarly calls for balance and slow tilt of head to coherently send the feedback to the brain.
Thank you, students. I now invite Vedanshi from IG2 to deliver a speech titled If Today Was the Last Day of My Life by Steve Jobs.
If Today Was the Last Day of My Life by Steve Jobs. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." It made an impression on me. And since then, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no, for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool that I've ever encountered that helps me make big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be. Because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you'll soon become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited. So don't waste it living somebody else's life. Thank you.
That was very inspirational, Vedanshi. Thank you. I now invite Devanshi to share her thoughts on today's theme and leave us with an intriguing question.
Whether childhood or adulthood, we have always learned something or the other. We have always been open to knowledge regardless of our age. We have gathered immense amount of knowledge, however. Have we ever thought about how all of this is connected? It is worth questioning that we experience a lot of things, we educate ourselves in a lot of aspects. But how is all that connected? For example, in school, we have different subjects, each with their unique aspects like chemistry with its equations, physics with its laws, and biology with its diagrams. We know the difference between the both. Actually, between all the three. But do we know if they are intertwined? It is intriguing how these subjects can be connected. Like with the theory of knowledge, we know English plays a huge role, whether it's forming the questions or describing the claims. Therefore, it is worth wondering how even the minute details of our lives could be interrelated. Thank you.
Thank you, Devanshi. I'm sure everyone's mind will be running by now. Last but not the least, I will be presenting to you an exit music piece prepared by me.